Because sometimes when you start a YouTube channel or anything online where you talk about stuff and you talk about the same thing again and again and again, eventually you're going to get a little bit bored. And in the case of Etsy, sometimes you're going to get a little bit annoyed. But don't worry, this isn't a video on how I'm angry with Etsy, rah. I'm kind of actually very indifferent to Etsy. I got a recent question from someone. They were asking for my thoughts on Etsy's recent update. Was it strictly an update? I think they kind of very stealthily and very quietly updated what you can and can't sell on the platform and didn't really tell anybody, but people noticed. I'm not sure if that's an update or just like trying to hide an excuse to close more shops, but I digress. My point is that I was asked for my opinion because I used to react to updates from Etsy, both good and bad, and I don't do that anymore. Spoiler alert, I don't have an opinion on those updates either way. But I thought I would talk a little bit about why I don't talk so much about Etsy specifically. And a big part of that is I got bored. There's only so much that you can say over and over and over again before it gets repetitive and dull. The other reason is that I have my own handmade business. Oh, that reminds me. Introduction. Hello, I'm Kim. If you've been here before, welcome back. But if you're new here, I'm Kim. I have a business called Beech Tree Handmade, and you can usually see some stuff that I make blurry in the background of these videos. My point is, I do actually have a shop, an Etsy shop, a website. I hand make things and then I come here and talk about it. And I kind of like the mix of talking about running a handmade business in general as one seller to others, but also the more personal running my business as well. So I like to move around as far as the topics go. And because I run a handmade business, sometimes I have stuff to say about Etsy, but not nearly as much as I used to. And this is why, if Etsy is going to keep coming up with updates, and it is that time of year that they do, summer is usually quite quiet for a lot of people. It's a good time to slide some some updates in before the busier Q4. And this time last year, I went through my videos and I was actually reacting to some updates that they did. So it's been fairly recently-ish that I've stopped reacting. Which brings me to the next reason why I don't do it so much, apart from the fact that I got bored. I got bored too of getting excited about updates that should have made things better on the platform, only for nothing to come of it whatsoever. And I think this is why that when I heard about this new update, I found out about it to the point that I needed to, as in how it affected me running my business. Not to the point that I could then sit in front of a camera and talk about it, because I had no desire to. Some people think it will be really good for the platform, especially if you are actually an artist or a maker of some kind. I don't think it's going to make a bit of difference. I did allude to my thoughts kind of in a recent video, and somebody pulled me up on that in the comments, and I didn't mean to be all elusive. It was just I get worried that I'm going to make a ranty video, and I try to keep things light, so that's why I rein myself in. But to go back to that, I immediately thought when I heard about these updates, I was like, this just seems like it's making it easier for Etsy to take down listings, which would make the number of listings that they've taken down increase, which would look better when they come to report about it, because they can say, we've taken down even more illegal listings. That's not the terminology that they use, but you kind of catch my drift. And I just thought, this is just all for creative data entry, isn't it? And the fact that they didn't tell anyone. At the time of filming, I'm not even sure that they have, because they did it initially very, very quietly. And it was sellers that noticed, and then people started talking about it in the forums, on YouTube, etc., etc. Maybe I'm just too jaded, but it just feels like they're trying to make it easier for them to do a thing so that the numbers go up, so that they can say that they're doing more of a thing. I could be wrong. Like I said, I didn't dwell on it or think about it too deeply. I just don't trust the platform as far as I can throw them. I don't think they care about tidying up the platform or making it better. I do think they care about being seen to do that. And I think this change has helped them do that, because now they can remove more listings and say that they have increased the amount of illegal listings that they've removed without it actually meaning much. Like I said, I'm jaded. And that's why I didn't want to make a video about it, because that's very depressing and negative, and I'm trying to be less negative, and that means not talking about Etsy quite so much because I haven't got anything positive to say. Okay, I'm gonna try. Etsy has its place. I still use it, so it's not completely rubbish, because if it was, I wouldn't use it. And I've made a video recently about how I think you should use Etsy and how you should come at it and not expect it to do all of the things for you, because I don't think in 2025 it will. And another quick reason why I don't talk about it anymore that I want to mention. I also used to do, just for fun, just for giggles, I used to do reviews of their trend reports. And I have to admit, I kind of enjoyed them at one point. I liked starting the year off reviewing Etsy's trends for the year report, and seeing what their colour of the year was, even though I knew it was all hooey and it didn't really matter. But they were fun, and there was personality in those articles, and you could actually get tips that would help you. I found tips that helped me get sales in my shop through those articles. And then something happened to them. The tone just changed. They became very dry. It was like the personality was just sucked out of them. And I used to struggle to make a video getting through it because it was so freaking boring. And what did it for me was one time when I sat down to do a review of their trend report. I can't remember which one it was. And as I was going through it, I found a bit of writing that made no sense. There were no spelling mistakes. It made no sense, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. This has been written by AI. And I felt so stupid. But also I was like, right, that makes so much sense. Because, you know, paying humans to write an article costs Etsy money, and it takes time for them to do it. And I think they probably wanted people to free up more of their time so they could do other things. They could just stick some prompts into ChatGTP or GPT or whatever the heck it's called. You know, bish bash bosh, you have yourself a trends article. Now obviously I don't know 100% that is a fact. That is just my suspicion. I just want to stress that that is my opinion. I don't know that 100%. But that was the feeling that I got in that moment. I believed that I was reading an article that had been written by AI, and that was why it read so badly and why there was no personality in it. It just felt off. And then there was this, you know, a couple of sentences, a small paragraph of absolute nonsense that had just slipped the net, and I thought, right, well, if nobody could be bothered to write this, then I can't be bothered to review it. And that's when I stopped doing the trend reports. And it was another nail in the coffin for me talking so much about Etsy, because there has to be some kind of soul in something in order for me to connect to it enough to want to talk about it all the time. And there's no soul in Etsy. It's just a tool now. It's a good tool to have. Some people it works really well for, some people it just brings in extra sales for. That's the category I fall into. And some people find that it's a complete waste of time. It is just a tool. And they are very self-serving, and everything that they will do for themselves, for profits, for shareholders. So every update that happens, whether they toot their horns and shout from the rooftops about it, or whether they just slide it in quietly, it's all going to be for them at the end of the day. I'll end with this. I was given some advice once in respect of relationships, that when it comes to what people say, if their actions don't back up their words, then you need to focus on the actions to find out what their true feelings are. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it's the best that I've got. Actions speak louder than words, essentially. And I apply this when it comes to Etsy. Their actions speak louder than their words, and they are very, very good at the words and saying the right things. They are supremely awful at matching those words with actions. So from now on, I'm paying attention to their actions. And if this change does have a positive impact on the platform, it will take a little time to see that. And if it does, then I will talk about it. And if it doesn't, I have better things to talk about. Which reminds me, members of this channel, your members only video has gone up. It's been a June long vlog and you see me stitching myself into a hole with regards to all of that lot. Keep an eye out for it. It is a beast. Let me know if you like that video, if you like the longer videos, and if you do, I will keep them up. Yeah, just let me know. And for the rest of you, for anyone who's wondered why I have been pivoting away from Etsy or why I haven't been doing those kind of videos, I hope this has answered your questions, and that's it for this week. I will see you again next time. Ta-ra!